Hi, I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Sherry.
Let us tell you a little bit about our podcast, Lemonade and Sunshine.
We're going to be talking to real people who have made lemonade with the lemons in their lives to help strengthen other people with their challenges.
We all need to know that there's hope and light even on our darkest days. And if you've ever felt alone in your struggles, and who hasn't, come and listen and sip lemonade in the sunshine
with us.
Welcome back to Lemonade and Sunshine. Since in the new year, people usually focus on setting goals and weight loss, we felt like this was a good January episode to focus on. And McKenna, who we're interviewing today, she takes a more individualistic approach to weight loss. As we take our struggles with weight and health to the Lord, He will help us to find the solutions. And sometimes we need to get to the root of the cause of why we're not able to lose weight or why we're gaining weight or what else may be going on and address that first. And so we kind of discussed that with McKenna. And so without further ado, we will get started with our interview. We are so excited to have McKenna on with us today. McKenna is an online course creator. She is passionate about empowering women through holistic health and weight loss. And her journey has taught her that the key to lasting health lies in focusing on spiritual solutions to temporal problems. And she said that she's excited to share her insights in her upcoming course, which is designed to help women make permanent changes in their lives. She also says that as a proud single mom of 4 incredible kids, she balances her work with family adventures from hiking and soaking up the sun to embracing new challenges, like her recent leap into skydiving. I can't believe you went skydiving. That's
amazing.
I don't think I could ever do that. She believes in unlimited do-overs, which I love, and she can't wait to inspire others to embrace their own journey to health. And so we just want to thank you so much for coming on, McKenna.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. So excited.
It's so very nice of you to come. And we're recording this a little bit later in the evening. And this just shows how sick I am because I'm like, oh, I'm tired and I need to wake up. I should have a sucker or something. You know what I mean? So I think I need your inspiration right now. So I'm super glad
I thought about having caffeine.
Right? I'm like, maybe she could help us. I don't know. This is for us. This is not for everyone else. We need your help because the topic of this episode is called What's Eating You? And so when we were talking about food and emotions and things like that, we started to think about how we feel when we eat particular things and how we eat particular things when we feel a certain way. So that is kind of what inspired this topic. So maybe you want to tell us how you started this journey of weight loss and how that happened in your life.
I'd love to. I've struggled with weight my entire life. I wasn't an overweight kid, but I started at a really young age worrying about my size and my weight, which I think was super common for most women. We're programmed through the commercials that we see and, all these things around us to be worried about how we look. And so I struggled with kind of eating disorder behavior from a really young age and got treatment for that. But it sort of morphed throughout the years. And then as an adult, instead of restricting my eating, I was coping by binge eating. Food was the thing. Food is always there for you. It will, I knew exactly what to expect when I went and ordered way too much food at Taco Time was my original guilty pleasure. I would go get way too much food. And I knew exactly how I was going to feel when I was done eating. It was just something comforting. I knew I could count on it. It was always going to be there. It was never going to disappoint me until, an hour or two later or the next day when all of a sudden you have the guilt. And so I started struggling with yo-yo dieting, especially, starting to have babies. That weight catches up to you. I didn't have the metabolism that I had when I was young. I wasn't as active as when I was younger. I was home with little kids. And so the pounds packed on. I gained 50 to 60 pounds with each of my pregnancies. And that 8 or 9 pound baby, I had big babies, but even those big babies, 9-pound baby pops out and you're going, oh, there's still another 45 pounds there that I just get to keep. Yep. Yay. So I yo-yo dieted a lot to try to combat that, which made me feel terrible. I get frustrated. And when I felt terrible, I'd want to eat more. And then I'd need to go on a diet. And then, the cycle begins. And I think it's just a really common cycle for most women.
Oh, for sure. I do. Yep.
You're starving yourself sometimes, or you're denying yourself things that you like when you do those yo-yo diets, because I'm still kind of doing them.
Well, and we don't necessarily have all the information that we need. There's a lot of data missing. We're going, okay, I ate this because I thought that these were the healthy things. And in reality, we're not aware necessarily of how maybe that's spiking your blood sugar and causing this energy crash. And maybe that's making you moody. And maybe this is why you're not sleeping so well at night. Maybe that's why your skin is struggling. Or like, food affects us in a million different ways, from, physical appearance to our health to our mental health. And for me, I found it is directly linked to even my spiritual health.
Yeah.
Well, and I think right now there's so much information out there with social media, and everybody is saying different things. You look at what one person is saying, and they're saying carbs are good. Another person is saying carbs are bad. And it's like that with everything. And so it's really hard to know.
Convincing.
Yeah. And it's really hard to know, well, what's right and what's not. You feel like you have to become a dietitian to know how to heal yourself or how to get better, I feel like.
Yeah. And the really tricky part is they're all right. All of them. All of these different diets and things that are being thrown out there work to some extent. If you follow plan A, you're going to get those results. If you follow plan B, you're going to get those results. The trick is that a sustainable plan for you?
And long term.
Yeah.
Can you do it for the rest of your life? Because as soon as you start eating regular food again, as soon as you add back carbs, it's so confusing though, because it's like 1 minute you should eat eggs, eat 12 eggs a day. You should eat eggs all day long. And then the next thing you know, they're like, eggs? What are you trying to do? Kill yourself? Like, eggs are terrible. What? I can't keep up. I mean, it's very hard to keep up, and everybody's super, super convincing. So what you're saying is they're all right. And these diets do work for a certain amount of time. But what you need to do is find a plan that works for you for your whole life.
Right. And that internal battle of, wait, I thought eggs were good. I thought eggs were bad. That was one of the biggest starting points for me. And it was potatoes, actually. Everybody was saying, oh, white potatoes are so bad for you. And I just kept thinking, it's a plant. Like, God made that. It's a plant. How can it be bad for you? I just didn't compute for me. And so I started looking in scripture immediately. It was like, okay, what does God say about food? For me, I went to the Doctrine and Covenants, section 89, and I read and I cross-referenced and I read again. I went to Daniel 1 and I read and I cross-referenced and I read again. And what I found was even God's word there has a lot of gray area. It's not as black and white as we'd like it to be. And that forced me to ask him, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Because you said right here in this verse, eat meat sparingly, or maybe not at all. And then over here, you said, don't tell anybody that they shouldn't eat meat. And then over in this verse, you said this, but over in this, and I'm going, okay, so that feels just as confusing, but we've got this amazing opportunity to pray and ask him. And and he'll tell us exactly what works. And the reason that things aren't as black and white is because there isn't one answer. We're all so diverse, and he knows us on a cellular level. I read a study years ago that was fascinating to me about how you should eat for your blood type. And when I looked into it, my particular blood type, I need more carbs and less protein. And when I started eating that way, and that was actually the answer that I had received personally from the Lord for my health journey. And so I had started eating more carbs, less protein. And then I came across this study that confirmed scientifically, yeah, for my blood type, that's what's best. So, but not everybody has my blood type. Not everybody has my DNA. Not everybody feels their best that way. Some people have allergies or, intolerances. There are all kinds of things that make a difference. And so we can get super confused and we can get really frustrated, or we can go right to the source. Go directly to our maker who knows exactly what we need.
I wanted to ask you if you felt like Eat Right for your blood type would be right for everybody, or are you saying that just coincidentally happened to be right for you?
Yeah, I think that coincidentally happened to be right for me, which I discovered again after I had made the decision to eat that way. I don't think that anything that I'm doing in terms of my diet of choice is for everybody. Not a single thing. There is nothing that I am doing that I really truly believe this is the answer, other than like, let's take it to our creator and figure out what's best for us. And he doesn't drop it all on us in one sitting. I didn't pray and he went, here's how you should eat. Lovely. And I went, oh, this is fantastic. Thank you for this diet plan.
That's a problem for me, because that sounds like a lot of hard work. Is that awful? But I'm just saying, I'm at him for so many things and trying to get answers to prayers for so many things. And how dumb is it that I have never really thought about, I need to ask him what I should be eating, because it just seems like, duh, I should know, but I don't really. You know what I mean? So,
well, and he's given us so many resources that we just are ignoring. He's going, hey, I inspired so-and-so and so-and-so and such over here to write these great books or to do these studies and to give you this information. You've got to put in the legwork, which is the most obnoxious answer in the world. Every time he sends me to do something for myself, I say, can't you just make it easy on me, please?
I know. Just let me know. I'll do what you want me to do. That's what I'm always saying. I will do what you want me to do. Just let me know what it is. Black and white. I'm kind of dumb, so I need it in black and white, please.
And he says back to us, what I want you to do is figure it out.
Yeah.
And we go, oh, but that's not what I meant. I said, I'll do what you want me to do. I meant you need to give me very explicit instructions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spell it out.
For sure. For sure. So you talked about you gained 50 or 60 pounds with each child. I am totally familiar with that. I gained 60 with my first, 50, then 40, then 30 and 30. But I decided that it'd be fun to keep at least 10 of each, just for safekeepings, just for memory's sake, just because that would be good. And so then you end up with all of that left over. So what was the turning point for you where you decided I need to do something and take control of this situation? What was the aha moment for you in that?
For me, it came a little while after having my fourth child. It was maybe a year and a half after she was born. I stepped on the scale and I weighed as much then as I had when I was 40 weeks pregnant. Mm-hmm. And for me, that was, I'm 5'6" tall. I was around 245 pounds. That's more than 100 pounds that are unnecessarily on my body every single day. And life was hard. The basics of life was hard. I had acid reflux and heartburn every single day. It was keeping me awake at night. So sleeping was a problem. tying my shoes or going up and down the stairs wasn't fun. My kids were getting to ages where they wanted to go and run and play and do these fun things. And I was too winded. I didn't want to participate. I was conscious of how sweaty I would get anytime I exerted any energy at all. And I mean, even after losing a significant amount of weight, I am still a sweaty, sweaty girl. But when I had the weight on me, it was just, and it felt mortifying. And when you're sweating and you're skinny, people don't look at you the same as when you're sweating and you're not. And so you worry about
Isn't
what
that
other
awful?
people are thinking.
That's so true.
Yeah. When we get so self-conscious,
Yeah.
it was just, there was so much that was just harder.
Yeah.
And my brain was so busy and cluttered with all of that I couldn't focus on the things that I knew I wanted to focus on in life. I wanted to focus on my family and my faith, but there wasn't any room left for that. I was wearing myself out every day just thinking about food and weight. And
don't you think there's a lot of like shame? And also, I mean, a lot of it comes from yourself. I think there's a lot of people that struggle with weight for different reasons, and some of them are medical. I mean, my weight gain came with a hysterectomy, and it's like I have a totally different body. But I have learned so much from it about how you feel judged. I mean, I had people telling me what I should be eating, and as if I don't know. And I knew and was doing it, but I couldn't lose weight, you know? Also just the shame of going to the pool and not wanting people to see me in a bathing suit. And so I didn't feel like I could play with my kids and have fun, like really let go. I mean, I would go in the pool and play with my kids and everything.
Right, thinking about, is my cellulite wiggling the wrong way the whole time?
Yes. And I remember like sitting under a tree with a towel around me, and just the shame of feeling that. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think it stems from, I mean, on top of just the society that we're all a part of, it stems from our core motivation. And I think that most of the time, our core motivation for making healthy changes is hate, which maybe that feels like an extreme word to use, but it's this: I hate how I look. I hate how I feel. I hate shopping because I can't find the clothes. There's always a negative force motivating us. And when we shift that to love and we go, no, I want to do this because I love my body and my body deserves to be cared for, then none of the other stuff matters. We don't have the shame because it doesn't matter what I look like. That's not the focus anymore. How I feel and what I'm able to do and the way that this is impacting my family becomes the focus. And, you know, that saying, where focus goes, energy goes. That's what happens. Whatever we're focused on, that's where our energy is. So when we get into that negative headspace around weight loss and health and worrying about the judgment of others, we're just magnetically pulled into more shame and judgment and darkness instead of light.
And I wonder if we even realize we're doing that to ourselves. Like, I didn't realize I did that to myself until I took a yoga class, and I'm sitting in the yoga class. I told Sherry about this experience, and I'm looking around the room and I'm like, I think I'm the fattest one in this room. And
I feel like I've been
I
in
don't
that
have the
exact
right
situation.
Yeah, I don't have the right clothes. And I started really shaming myself, and it was hot yoga. And at the end of the yoga class, I don't know if it was the heat or what, but driving home had this emotional release. And I realized that I was doing this negative self-talk to myself and that I needed to change it. But sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing that.
Yeah, because we've got habits that have been established for years and years and years. We're doing this all so subconsciously. One of the biggest solutions for that, to me, has been stillness. Taking the time to sit and be quiet and still and allow those thoughts to be made known. We don't even see them. We don't know that they're happening, but in that situation, you were in a space where it was quiet and you had nothing to do but recognize it. And so when we give ourselves that space, it's that the still small voice is able to come in then and remind us and bring those things to our knowledge.
Well, even yoga talks about that, like letting the thoughts and emotions and feelings and stuff come. And instead of just pushing them down and saying, oh, no, I'm not supposed to feel this, or I'm not supposed to think this, or, just acting like they don't exist, to actually acknowledge them and then let them go on their own. So that makes sense to me, but it's hard. It's hard to not let those thoughts take over. How do you let them come and not have them take over or become your truth?
Great question. A couple of things that I like to do are write. Take, as those thoughts are coming and you're sitting in that stillness and that quietness, write them down. When you see them on paper, it gives them just a little less power. And one of my favorite things to do after I've written down these thoughts, all of these negative thoughts, is to then take the time to question the validity of every one of them. I am fat and lazy. Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I have fat on my body and I work really hard at what I do? I might not be running marathons, but I provide meals for my kids every day. Or I go to my work every day and I sit in my office and I give it my best. Whatever it is that you're doing, what's the truth? And that's a gift that the Holy Ghost can be to us that we don't necessarily take advantage of. The Holy Ghost is going to tell us the truth no matter what. And we are really good at listening to the negative truth. But the truth is, we're good and beautiful and kind and loving and we're trying. And so we can take those thoughts, we can write down the negative thoughts, and then we can go, okay, is that true? What is true? Or what do I want to be true? What do I want to believe about myself? And write that down instead. And I love affirmations and mantras. I will repeat them every day. And that started, funny story, when I was a little girl, my dad would take my brother and I to elementary school in the mornings. And as he would drop us off, he'd have us both in the car and he'd have us repeat after him. He'd say, I like myself. And we'd have to say, I like myself. I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to have a great day. And we're just sitting there rolling our eyes going, this is so ridiculous. But it implanted that idea in my brain. And, 30 something years later, I'm using that daily. I need that reminder daily. I'm good. I'm okay. Who I am is enough.
I remember a mom that would drop her kids off at school and she wouldn't say, have a great day. She would say, make it a great day. So it kind of put it back on them instead of just like, it happened to me and I had a great day. Not like that, but make it a great day,
Yeah. It's a conscious choice. We get to choose it every day. And that's a lot of our weight gain. I think we also see that way. We see it as this has happened to us. And when we can take our personal responsibility back, that's really empowering. When we go, oh, wait, if I want to make a conscious choice, like I'm not just this way and there's nothing I can do about it. I made choices to eat the way I eat. And I can have compassion for myself. I can say, yeah, I made those choices because I didn't know better, or I was dealing with some depression, or I was in these hard circumstances, or my body was going through these changes, whatever it is. So have love and compassion for yourself, and then also take responsibility and go, all right, and I can make it different. I can make it better. That personal responsibility is huge.
I think sometimes when you're trying to make good decisions eating and you're exercising and your body's not changing, it feels like the mountain is so high that you have to climb and you just don't know how to get better. Do you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah, we see this huge climb ahead of us and we're overwhelmed by that.
Yeah.
And it's so overwhelming that we don't even take a first step.
Yes.
Yeah. I call that getting stress paralyzed. Like I see the big picture and what needs to be done, and I don't know how to get from A to Z. And so I don't even try.
Well, and I think sometimes when you have health issues going on, you have to get to the root of it to fix what's going on.
On one hand, I'm like, okay, so you've got health issues, you've got all these other underlying problems. So we're sitting at the bottom of this mountain and we're at point A and we want to get to point Z up at the top of the mountain. And we're so overwhelmed and we think we know what the answer might be. Like, okay, I need to take the first step. But sometimes we're jumping to G, F, I don't know, pick a letter in the alphabet. When our bodies are so much more complex than that, it doesn't necessarily always start where you think it starts. It doesn't always start with your body. I think in my intro, you said I focus on spiritual solutions to temporal problems. That's what I'm talking about. That if my focus jumping in is, okay, I need to change these things that I eat, that is a temporal solution for my temporal problem. Temporal problem, I need to lose weight. Temporal solution, I need to change my diet and move my body. Whereas the spiritual solution is I need to reconnect spiritually. I need to go to the Lord and find out what it is that I need to do. And sometimes, in fact, even for me, one of the first things that had to take place before I could focus on the diet and exercise and all of that was I had some mental health issues that were really wreaking havoc in my life. And it wasn't until I had solutions to those issues that I had the space to worry about the rest. So there's a time and a season. So you've got those health problems. Maybe weight loss isn't your priority right now. Your health can still be a priority, but maybe weight loss isn't the priority. So let's take this again to the Lord and go, okay, what is it that you want me to do? What do you want me to learn right now? What's your focus?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. It was perfect. I thought while you were talking, you could be doing the wrong diet. I did low carb diet for a year. I was eating salads and everyone else was like eating McDonald's or whatever they wanted. And I'm eating rabbit food,
That doesn't offend me in the slightest. I love my rabbit food.
But I wasn't losing any weight and I was exercising and doing that. But you're right. I needed to focus on finding the problem, which when I did, because I did do that, that is actually what helped me to be able to lose weight.
Another little tidbit I learned from someone, one of the tools that I picked up to put in my toolbox along the way, because that's really what this journey is. So one of the things that I learned along the way was I have a bit of an addictive personality. My eating was really compulsive. And so I started attending the addiction recovery program meetings. And I met a woman in those meetings who had lost a significant amount of weight following the 12 steps. And we met together one day and she just let me ask her all the questions. And the thing that I have not forgotten from that conversation, she said, but you're forgetting to take into account the metabolic rate of joy. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that means. And she said, well, there's something in our bodies when we're like stressing out and we're so worried about this stuff, that's holding us back. Like that's physiologically affecting the way that we metabolize the foods that we're eating and all of this stuff. So you're stressing yourself out, you're sticking to the diet, you're doing what you're supposed to do, but are you enjoying it at all? Is there any joy in it? And when there's joy in the process, that somehow plays a big part in this formula of calories in versus calories out.
Sherry and I talked before we started recording about how you get in this cycle. So you feel lousy and so then you eat junk and then it makes you feel worse. And it's like this spiraling downward cycle.
It's physics. An object in motion stays in motion. Like you're going to keep going in the same direction.
So how do you break that?
Consciousness. We have to make a conscious choice to just stop it.
Well, and I think what you just said about the joy in it and having the joy in it and not feeling the guilt of it. So you're trying to eat better, you're trying to do better, you're on a healthy food plan for you, but then you mess up and then we beat ourselves up constantly, and we just make it worse. And what you're saying is, what I think I hear you saying is that changing your perception of what happened and just having joy in it, go, that was so good. I loved that. That was great. And let it go. Then let it go instead of beat ourselves up. And well, now we've blown it and we might as well just eat the whole pizza because we ate a piece and we're not worth, any of this effort and we're just fat and we're just dumb and, all of that self-talk instead of just like, that was so good. I enjoyed that so much. That was great. And then move on with your life.
That reminded me of something I learned in therapy. Again, therapy has been another tool for me in the toolbox. But another thing that I learned in therapy is we've got to quit labeling food or our eating behaviors or whatever as moral things. There's no morality in food. It's not good or bad. It doesn't matter if you ate the pizza. It's pizza. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just pizza. So let's quit labeling it. And then we can just use everything as data. It's all just data. So, okay, I ate the whole pizza tonight. That's not good. It's not bad. It's neutral. It is what it is. What data do I need to gather from this? Maybe I didn't eat enough at lunch today. And so by the time I was there in front of that pizza, I was starving and I just was shoveling food into my face before, my brain could even signal, hey, you're full or whatever it is. Or I had a really hard day. I was feeling really emotional today. And instead of giving myself 5 minutes to go sit alone in my room and feel it and cry, I wanted to stuff those feelings down. So I did that. Again, it's not good or bad. It's information. You're not good or bad because you stuffed the emotions down. You just chose to deal with it that way. And that way has this consequence. And if my goals don't line up with that consequence, great. I have the ability to choose differently next time. I get to choose another consequence by choosing a different behavior. It's all just data. We're not doing things that are good or bad.
So we learn from it and we don't beat ourselves up.
Yeah. And we don't even know that we're saying those things in our head or out loud or to other people. I don't even think we're aware that we are saying those things or making that declaration, but we definitely are. I love that. It's just data and it's not good or bad. And we're neither good or bad for eating this or that. So what is it that you do in your work? Tell us about your work.
So I have just recently created a 12-week course where I teach these concepts. In the process of creating the course, there was a lot of thought about, okay, well, people are going to then ask me, because my mission is to help you lose weight and feel your best. And people are going to ask me, well, okay, so how much weight can I expect to lose? Or how long is it going to take? And what do I have to do? I don't have any of those answers for you. But what I do have is 2 decades worth of tools and skills that I've gathered that I can teach you. And then on top of that, if you're interested, I can also do one-on-one mentoring. And we can talk specifically, not just about the skills and tools, but all right, this is what you're doing. This is how it's affecting you. Let's figure out, let's problem solve. Let's do this together. And so I just want to help empower women and give them the knowledge to figure things out with God, what's best for them, and to find joy in life again. To just take out all this.
Right.
Do you know how much energy you get back when you stop worrying about all of this nonsense? No wonder we're so tired.
Right.
There's so much more I can pour into my family and my passions when I'm not freaking out about food. I had a bite of a crumble cookie before I got here. So? It's a cookie. I had a cookie.
You had a box of crumble cookies? You had a box of crumble cookies?
It was a bite.
Yeah, we had a box. I
had a box.
She had
a box.
That was what
I mean, and if I did, it wouldn't have been good or bad. It's,
Yeah. Okay. That's hard for my brain to get around. A whole box would be bad. I know it's hard to change that mindset.
No,
but I
a
love
whole box is not bad. It's not good or bad. You ate a whole box. The consequence of eating a whole box
would feel bad.
I'm going to feel sluggish. I don't like how I feel, but that doesn't mean that eating the cookie
So it's
was
an
bad.
observation.
Yeah.
Right. Observation of that.
Yeah. Let's take the emotion out
so
of it.
your 12-week course, is that online, did you say?
Yeah, that's online. You can find me on Instagram at McKenna Eats Plants, and get connected with me there. And yeah.
Oh, cute.
We'll post
Yay.
that for you.
And then, McKenna Eats Plants. And do you start this at a particular time and then everybody jumps on that particular round? Or is it we can sign up and they can do the 12? Okay.
Yeah, we can do group programs and we'll start all together and go through the 12-week program. Or if you want to do it individual one-on-one, we just start wherever you're at. Or we can jump in, like you can do it like with your cohort. We're going to start at the same date and go through the 12 weeks consecutively. Or you can also just jump in wherever.
That is so
Lots of
cool.
options. Whatever works for you. You know, I've got all these little mantras I've collected along the way. One of my favorites is also, anytime I hear an expert say this is the way it should be done, I'm immediately leery. Like, I don't know that that's the way it should be done. I don't know that you have the answer for everybody, because what works for you is what works for you. So we're going to find the answers here that work for you. It takes as long as it takes. We get unlimited do-overs, and we're going to find what works for you.
I would love to ask, McKenna, what would be like, I sign up for your 12 weeks. What would be week 1? What would that look like?
Week 1, we're going to have an introduction. We're going to talk about whether or not you're really ready. Because I think a lot of times we think we're ready. We're ready for the solution, but we're not necessarily ready to do the work. There's going to be, we're going to set some expectations here. There's going to be some grief. Your life is going to have to change. It's going to be uncomfortable and painful at times. Are you really ready for that? Are you prepared to sit with that? Because up until now, the way that you coped with that discomfort is probably to eat a whole pizza or a box of crumble cookies. We're choosing consciously to change that. So we'll set expectations. We'll kind of see where you're at, what you want from the program. We'll set some goals, and that's where we'll start.
Sounds great. Okay, now I'm brain dead. Hold up.
It's past everyone.
I just need a bite of something. I need a bite of something sweet. No, I'm kidding. Do you grow your own food?
No, we have some garden boxes and we grow some food, but no. And I don't do like all organic, and I don't do all the things. Nothing is black and white. We mentioned earlier the perfectionist tendencies. I'm coming from very black and white thinking, it has to be perfect or I'm not going to do it at all.
I'm so that way.
Well, so many of us are.
Yeah, I'm so that way.
And so I have to combat that very consciously. Like another mantra, good enough is good enough. Good enough is good enough. If I'm going to eat this healthy meal, but there's like a little mayonnaise in it, and maybe I'm trying not to eat sugar because sugar makes me feel like garbage, but there's a little bit of sugar in the mayonnaise. Good enough is good enough. We're not going to get hung up on the details.
Yeah, like I have these like big lofty goals. And so I'm going to walk an hour and then I'm going to lift weights and I'm going to whatever. And I have had to learn to change my mindset and think, okay, a 20-minute walk is better than no walk. Like if 20 minutes is all I have time for, then 20 minutes is better than no walk at all. You're laughing at me.
15 minutes of stretching before bed is better than no walk.
Yeah.
I mean,
nothing.
Yeah.
With the podcast, Kim is always like, all right, now I think that we could have 144 episodes by June, and I'm just like, of what year, woman? Of what year? Well,
I know,
I'm just saying,
I goals.
Really, I'm like, I will lose 100 pounds in 6 weeks.
I'm like,
you won't.
Oh, I love you. That's so cute of you. No, I probably have too little expectations and the least amount of perfectionism. So that's sad for me. But
sounds like the two of you provide each other some
I love
balance.
all of these things.
Yeah, right.
Just a good compliment.
Yeah,
Maybe.
like I thought we were
so.
going to launch our podcast 2 months after we started, and And
Yeah.
Sherry was like,
Yeah. Well, you said like we started, I don't know.
yeah, I did.
You said May. We
Yeah.
just didn't say what year. We
Yeah.
didn't say what year.
Yeah.
What May of what year? We didn't say. So,
Yes.
well, this is also very good. So, McKenna eats plants.
Yep.
That's how we can find you on Instagram. And what else will we find
That's
there on Instagram with you? Recipes?
I share a lot of recipes and I eat plants almost exclusively. I don't expect everyone else to. And I don't cook that way for my family. So it's family friendly recipes. Here's how I eat it, plant based. And here's what you can do, throw some meat in there for the kids or whatever else. So I've got recipes, tips, motivation, just me and my quirky personality. That's really the best part.
It is. She's great.
I would
Just
say
a big goofball.
that is the best part.
You're gonna get, a dose of reality. It's gonna be a lot of really sweaty selfies. That sort of thing.
Nice. Those are always good. Yes. Very good. McKenna, tell us how much, I don't think we really talked about like how much weight did you lose? And everybody wants a timeline. I'm sorry, but people want a timeline. How much weight did you lose in what amount of time? And what do you think is the biggest change that you made to do that?
Okay. I'm going to give you an answer that you're not going to like. I can tell you exactly how much weight I've lost. 85 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I went from about 245. I'm around 160 right now, which I'd still like to lose a little bit of weight, but I'm also very aware that it's the holiday season and I want to eat the pumpkin chocolate chip crumble cookie. So, it's just data. We're making choices. But I lost at 85 pounds up and down over the course of several years. It didn't happen perfectly. It was not linear. It was not consistent. And another one of those mantras that got me through it was I heard a life coach on Instagram who just kept repeating, it takes as long as it takes. For me, I had read a study years and years and years after doing the yo-yo dieting for a long time. I heard a study that said, actually, it's better for your health to just eat the garbage than to keep doing this yo-yo thing and putting yourself through the cycle. And I went, okay, well, then I guess I better just give up. And fast forward a few years, and I just went, that is the stupidest advice anyone ever gave. Why would I just, why is it better to give up and not try? I'm going to keep doing this. I don't care if it's not good for me to cycle through it. I'm going to keep doing it until I get it. It takes as long as it takes. For somebody else, it might be easier and they might be able to do it really consistently. I messed up a lot. I will still mess up. I'm going to continue to mess up. I'm not going to do this right all the time. That's just the journey. And once I accepted that this isn't perfectly linear, then all of a sudden I can do this forever. It's not, I'm going to white knuckle it until I hit this goal. No, I'm just going to keep doing this forever. This is the way that I live my life.
Because I have a reunion or I have a wedding or I have a, summer vacation or someone's going to see me in a swimming suit. I got to lose 14 pounds. I got to, that timeline.
Yeah, our bodies were made to fluctuate. In winter, we need a little more fat stores on us. When we're having babies, we need a little more. When we don't have those things going on or in warmer weather or, whatever it may be, we don't need that. Our bodies are good to go up and down. I'm okay with that. I don't need to achieve a certain number. I'm going to keep working on this constantly. This is a daily practice. I had to take the goal setting mentality out of it for me. There's no deadline.
Right.
I don't have that pressure.
So you said I wouldn't like that answer. I really do like that answer, but I know what you're saying because I did sort of want like a couple of numbers. I wanted a couple of numbers there, but I really do actually love that answer because it is life and life is real and life is ugly and it's messy and sometimes it works perfectly and sometimes it doesn't. And there's no good or bad. It's just data. I love that. That's a great takeaway. I'm going to try to implement that in my life.
Okay. It's like the podcast, really. I mean, I'm going to bring that up again because we had a deadline. Well, I did. I kept setting deadlines And
How many
Sherry's like,
deadlines? How many deadlines?
yeah.
Many.
And I would just do it for me because Sherry didn't want me to set a deadline.
Yeah. Well, at first I believed you. I was like, yeah, we're going to do that. And now she'll mutter under her breath. All right. Well, I think we could probably, never mind. I'm just saying this for me.
I know.
Well, but deadlines might work for someone. Setting a goal and having a number and a date, that might be really what works for you. Awesome. If that's what's going to work for you, let's do that. For me, that was just pressure. That would make me quit, where I'd feel like a failure when I didn't make it there. So
yeah. Well, okay. And then I sent Sherry this thing on Instagram, and it was this girl talking about how when you're getting a lot of opposition, that's when you know you're doing something good. And so I think there is a lot of opposition with losing weight or just trying to be healthier. There's always opposition. I mean, I know for me, my opposition always came in the form of being too busy to take the time for myself, or feeling guilty taking time for myself, and I think we need to realize that we're worth it, and we can't take care of other people if we don't set aside the time to take care of ourselves. And I kept feeling like the Lord was saying that I needed to do that for myself, but I just couldn't figure out how to fit it into my schedule, how to fit time for myself into my schedule.
Oh, please let me add a couple of thoughts on that. But first of all, how dare we put that on our families? How dare we make them responsible for our lack of self-care? We all have done that. It's not their fault. I'm the one making the choice. There is a great book called He to Deliver Me from Bondage, and it's written by Colleen C. Harrison. She actually wrote the book when she was learning the 12 steps and wanted to correlate these Bible verses and things to the Book of Mormon. And so she went through and sort of found evidence of all of the 12-step gospel principles in the Book of Mormon, and then wrote this book. But she talks about that. Like, how dare we hide behind our families and our children? We're just going to work ourselves to death or use them as an excuse. That's not on them. They don't bear that at all.
Right.
We get to do that. And self-care is not selfish. Heavens, we have got to figure that out. Self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. If I don't get up, if I don't get enough sleep, if I don't get up and get some fitness in the morning and move my body, if I don't eat the way that I'm going to eat to make myself feel good, I don't have the space and energy for my children. The woman who used those kids as an excuse was not able to take them hiking. So what service was I doing to them? We have room in our lives to prioritize ourselves. Even the Savior himself, we find him in the scriptures taking a nap, taking 40 days in the wilderness to be alone and to pray and to meditate and to refill himself so that he could provide. Let's follow that example. Let's quit being martyrs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, off my soapbox. Sorry.
No, I like that.
Not their responsibility. Yep, totally.
So where is the sunshine in all this?
It's outside when you get up in the morning and take a hike for yourself. That is where the sunshine is.
What was it that I said? I said something really
who are we?
earlier, didn't I?
What are we? Yeah.
Okay. No, this is my favorite. It's a direct example of Ether 1227. This health and weight loss struggle of mine has become such a strength. And I don't mean that in terms of like, look how strong and healthy I am now. I'm the epitome of health. I can be for sure sometimes, but it's a lot deeper than that. I still struggle. I still find myself wavering often. And those moments of struggle are a key signifier to me that I need to stop and reevaluate my spiritual self. When I'm getting a little too loosey-goosey with my health habits, for me at least, it's a symptom that I've gotten too loosey-goosey with my spiritual habits as well. They're completely interconnected. The mind, body, spirit connection is so powerful. And when one is out of alignment, they're all out of alignment. And so God gave me this perfect gauge that helps. It's become a tool to keep tabs on my relationship with deity. So if I allow it to, instead of being a struggle, it's something that just consistently brings me back. And it shows me how closely involved God wants to be in my life in every single decision. In down to what I eat, when I eat, how I move my body. Like, God wants to be so involved in every tiny little detail of our lives. I'm that important to God, to the supreme creator. I matter that much to him. And so this struggle has become a symbol of that. Each one of us is that important to God. And when we let our struggles connect us to them, all of a sudden it's a beautiful gift.
Yay. That is beautifully said. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to replay that. I'm going to need to hear it again. That was good. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
And I
have moments where I say smart things.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I love what you said about joy too, finding joy. But it's so true that we can find God in our struggles. And that's Lemonade and Sunshine, right, Sherry? That's what our podcast is, finding the sunshine in the hard.
And we are going to plug McKenna Eats Plants. Again, you can find McKenna on Instagram there and her program. And we hope that a lot of people check you out there. And we so appreciate you coming and sharing this. I love your take on being healthier and involving God in this adventure and this journey. I love that take. I think it's great. I just don't know why it's never occurred to me. I feel like it's sort of been like, I need to get a hold of this myself. Why? That is such a big deal and such an important thing. And like you said, how much energy do we spend trying to think of what we're supposed to be doing, what we don't do, and worrying about food and worrying about how we look and what we weigh and what people think. And we wish we could do this and we don't take it to the Lord. Like, it seems crazy now to me that we don't. But I love your take on it. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing this light with us. We love it.
That's been so fun. Thank you for having me. I love this topic. I hope that this helps someone find a little peace and joy in their life.
I think for sure. I think for sure it will. Thank you, McKenna.
Thank you. We would love to hear from you.
Yes, we really would. So please give us your feedback.
And let us know if there's any topics you'd like us to cover.
And how you have found the sunshine with the lemons in your lives.
And how do they give us feedback, Kimberly?
You can find us, Lemonade and Sunshine, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple iTunes. Please give us a review and rating. It really helps us as a new show.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does. So until next time, we hope that you can feel the sunshine.
And we hope you will tune in next week to Lemonade and Sunshine.